Good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here with you on your Tuesday morning. We are watching a nasty line of thunderstorms move through East Alabama and West Georgia this morning. We have no warnings or statements from the National Weather Service, but this is a rather strong line of thunderstorms. So we are going to watch this with you. Ordinarily, I wouldn't do this, but because we're in a tropical setup this morning, we could get a quick spin up anywhere along this line at any given time, though we haven't really seen a history of that. We did see some indications of weak rotation about an hour ago associated with this line as it moved through eastern Coosa County and northern Elmore County. So that's why we're here, just to be on the safe side, watching this line of thunderstorms move through the area. So we have just copious amounts of rain now from Chula Finney up here in Cleburne County, down through Delta, the eastern side of Clay County. Just buckets of rain coming down this morning, all the way down to New Site, and then down there along 280 between Alexander City and Dadeville near Jackson's Gap now. Is where the heaviest rain is. That stretches back up into northwest Randolph County from Wedowee back up to Newell and to the north and to the west. Very heavy rainfall there in Randolph County. Some of that stretches down 431 back down toward Roxton. Roanoke, you've just got some light rain at the moment, but this line of storms will slowly advance to the east, so eventually Wadley, Southern Union, Dickert, Roanoke, this line of storms is coming your way. We know that we do have some wind with this line of storms because we've got some power outages reported back over around Alexander City. And then as we look down here in Chambers County, just some scattered light to moderate showers. Lynette, you've got a moderate shower underway at the moment. And then as we get down in the southern part of Tallapoosa County from about Bama Park south to around Tallahassee. Heavy rainfall. Reeltown, this is coming at you. Looking at Lee County. Moderate rainfall now in Opelika that stretches down to Beauregard and then down into the southern part of Lee County. Our West Georgia counties looking pretty good. Some light to moderate rain now on the central and western side of Troup County from LaGrange west. Heard County, some light showers up there around central Hatchie, and then down there in the southwest corner of the county, you have some light rain occurring there. And then Carroll County has got most of the counties covered with rain, but it's light to moderate right now. The north end of this stuff over in Alabama will eventually get up there into Carroll County. I-20, not a good ride this morning from Anniston, pretty much all the way to Douglasville. It's going to be a wet ride if you're headed toward Atlanta. Bless you. And then looking on up into northeast Alabama, northwest Georgia, some pretty heavy rainfall up there around Cartersville, back up Calhoun on I-75. And northeast Alabama, for the most part, is looking pretty good. Though if we go back over here to northwest Alabama between I-22 and I-20, that's where the heaviest concentrated continuous rain is this morning, because that's closest to the center of what's left of the circulation of Ida, which is over here in Mississippi, headed for Tupelo. It's going to cross over I-22 right there around Tupelo. And so from now until the storm gets up into eastern Tennessee, this will be the closest approach to East Alabama and West Georgia. And so from now through probably mid-afternoon, we will stand our best chance of seeing a few strong to marginally severe thunderstorms. Some of those storms would have the possibility of quick spin-up tornadoes. Though this morning, the heaviest convection we can find in the entire state of Alabama is from East Montgomery all the way back down to Mobile. Though we've been watching this line moving through East Alabama, and it has been slowly increasing in intensity. And here's another indication of that. We're now getting a strike of lightning out of this storm. This flash was 3.3 minutes ago, and it was just to the northeast of Bluff Springs over in Clay County, right there around the Corinth community in Clay County. So these are all signs that this line of thunderstorms is strong. It's not severe, but it is strong, and it is slowly increasing in intensity. So that's why we're here this morning watching this, and we welcome those of you who are listening on God's Country and the Classic. And I will try my best to be, this is kind of interesting because for years, 30 plus years, I was a radio guy. So I know how to be descriptive so you guys on radio can understand what I'm talking about. But the last 5 years, I've been a television guy too. So I have to remember that you folks on radio aren't watching this. So I try my best to be as descriptive as I possibly can for your benefit. So we welcome all of you who are listening this morning all across Central and East Alabama, from Leeds to the Georgia state line down to the Auburn-Opelika area. We appreciate you being in here with us this morning. We welcome those of you who are watching us on social media. Ryan Wilkerson's in here this morning. He's watching us from Center Chapel. Linda is here from Roanoke. Morgan Brown's watching from Wedowee. Sharon Gillespie is watching us this morning. Good morning. Linda Burkhalter is in Corinth. Cassandra Knight's online with us this morning. We have Rome, Georgia in the house. Good morning to you, Rome, Georgia. Nice to have you. Christy Maddox Reeves is in here. She is from Wildwood, Florida. Her kids are in Randolph County, Wadley, Wedowee, and Roanoke. And you're very welcome, Christy. Heather Jordan is watching us in Crackford. Sam Bowen is here this morning watching from Lynette. Judy Williams is in Millerville in Clay County. Courtney Hill watching us from Dickert. I think we have the entire metropolitan Dickert community members here on Dr. Don's Weather, and we appreciate that. Brandon Higgins watching us from Newell, Alabama. Cindy Seal is in Delta in Clay County. There's Heflin, Alabama. Good morning, Kayla. Sheila Davis watching us this morning. Janine Ziegler-Heidemann, good morning. Nice to have you in here with us. There's Brandon Huggins watching from Newell. Elizabeth Mills is in Roanoke. Kay Branch watching us this morning from the Mountain Community in Clay County. Sheila Davis is in Lynette. Misty Jordan is in LaGrange. Matt Brewer covering the entire metro of Haywood. Gotcha. Cassandra's watching us from the Almond community. Let's see. Y'all are going so fast here, I'm having a hard time keeping up with it. Letitia Barber. Yeah, she's over there on Cody Road, Greater Roanoke area. Mickey watching us from Ashland. That's Michael, I'm sorry. Debbie is in West Point. Jill is watching from Ranburn. Tim and Sheila Clifton is in Bowden, Georgia. April's in Shiloh. Pisgah, Alabama in the house. Good morning, Michael. Heflin, Alabama. Good morning, Amy. There's Benny Floyd, Wedowee, Randolph County Transportation Department. Sharon Hendon's watching us in Roanoke. Just had a little strike of lightning around Wedowee. That's Morgan Brown. That bolt of lightning was most likely out there on the Clay County, Randolph County line, back toward 48. Understand in these tropical situations, the upper levels of the atmosphere, the moisture level is so thick, when there's a bolt of lightning, the thunder, the sound is going to carry forever. So you could literally have a bolt of lightning 10 miles away and it sounds like it's right there in your front yard. And you'll see it too. Jennifer is in Hollins. All right, so Priscilla's asking the question, is Clay County schools delayed? I don't know the answer to that, but I know that something is going on with Clay County schools. I think it may be just the county schools. I did see a little something about that last night. So if there's somebody in here that can confirm Priscilla's question on Clay County schools, please do so. There's Bernard Shepard. Good morning, my friend. Again, we're here this morning because of this main line of thunderstorms that's pushing out of Clay County into Randolph County. Nothing severe at the moment, though we do have some gusty winds, very heavy rainfall. But this line of storms, given the particular setup that we have this morning because of Tropical Storm or now Depression Ida, we're here watching this because we could get a quick spin-up tornado at any moment out of this line of thunderstorms. So, and the problem is because of the particular weather setup, these things are extremely fast. I mean, they're there and they're gone almost faster than the National Weather Service can get the warnings published, and they can get them out pretty quick. So instead of waiting until we have some type of warning before I go live, I just wanted to come in here and hang with you this morning, at least until we get this line of thunderstorms out of our coverage area, just in case we get something quick. This is a preemptive offensive strike this morning on my behalf. So let me take a look at a couple of different things here. First, we'll look at the base velocity. Okay, now if we have any wind in this, and I know that we do because we've already had reports of power outages down here in Alexander City, I'm going to point out the areas of most interest. These would be the areas that would likely be experiencing some gusty winds right now. And there you go, right out there on 48, right along the Randolph County, Clay County line. Really, let me just do that. So this area up here, and then it picks up again right along 77, and this is actually kind of the better indication of wind down here in extreme southeastern Clay, extending down to New Site, and all the way back to 280. Is there anybody in the house down there in New Site? I know we have a lot of folks who watch us down there. So if there's anybody down in New Site that could give us an update on what the winds are like down there. You see these little bitty specks of green? I'm going to try to dot them yellow because that might show up a little bit better because these are very, very small areas. But you see those little bitty specks of green down there? That's indication that we may have some pretty heavy wind taking place down there. Again, folks, understand that the thunder you hear this morning could be miles away. It's, I guess, the best way to describe this because this is a tropical setup. It's like having that moisture level in the upper levels of the atmosphere so dense. It's like having a blanket laying over your community. So, you know, if somebody if there's a loud noise and it's under that blanket, it's going to carry much further because there's a ceiling. It can't go up. It has to go out. So, I mean, you're looking at live radar with lightning on it. And the only two strikes I've seen, and they were like 5 minutes ago now, there was one over here in eastern Clay, and there was one down here in northern Chambers. Those are the only two lightning strikes that we have detected so far. So if you're hearing it up here in Woodland or Dowie or Roanoke, that's where it's coming from. And you'll see a flash of light too, because again, the light bounces off the thick deck up in the atmosphere and carries forever. All right, so let's go back to the reflectivity. And that's what we're looking at this morning. Barfield, Delta community, the storm has just moved through your area. So you've still got some rain around, but there's nothing severe there. And within the next 30 minutes or so, things should start to calm down in the Delta community. Winds picking up in Daviston. Yes, it should be. So Daviston, you're right here, and here comes that line of storms. So Daviston, you're in a good spot to kind of tell us what it's like when this comes through. Now, I'm still looking if there's anybody in New Site. It would be very interesting to hear from them because that line just came through New Site. But Daviston, kind of give us a play-by-play as this thing moves through and kind of let us know what the winds are doing, because we're showing that you may have some gusty winds in here. Yeah, when I say gusty winds, I'm talking 30, 35 mile per hour gust. It won't blow like that the entire time as it moves through, but I'd just be real interested in getting some ground truth reporting out of the southern end of this line down here. You're welcome, Melissa Hughes, and thank you for all that you guys do. Genesis Weight Clinic in downtown Roanoke, we appreciate them being partners with Dr. Don's Weather. And I'm telling you, folks, without our partners, we wouldn't be here. So be sure that you go in and at least thank them and check out their services. And we couldn't do this. I mean, this started out as a somewhat of a hobby, and it's grown much bigger than that. In order to give you the same quality coverage that the major metropolitan areas of Birmingham and Atlanta receive, it is not a cheap venture, trust me, and it's time consuming. But we're doing it. We love doing it. We're going to continue doing it as long as we have the support. So thank you, Melissa. All right, so Cassandra is telling us that the wind is getting stronger and it's beginning to rain heavier on 77 up here in southwest Randolph County near the Alma Malone community. So that's a good report, too, because it's knocking on your door, Cassandra, the line of storms. Now, the line looks stronger further south down there around Daviston and New Site, but you got some very heavy rainfall and probably some gusty winds right there, too, and you're confirming that. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate your kind words. Sheila, thank you. Again, this is what we're looking at this morning. Very heavy rainfall from Anniston, Heflin, back down into southern Cleburne County, all across northern Randolph, back into northeastern Clay, down the eastern side of Randolph and down the eastern side of Clay and the western side of Randolph. That stretches all the way back down to around Daviston, back to just north of Jackson's Gap. There's a little break in the action. And then from Dadeville all the way down to Camp Hill, Waverly, and then south down into Tallapoosa, and almost all the way to Tuskegee. We have heavy rainfall this morning. Notice what's happening back behind this main feeder band. We're getting redevelopment. So we have another very narrow line of storms trying to get going from Ashland back down to west of Hackneyville to about Kellyton, and then down to just north of Titus on 53. So that's going to be the MO this morning. These showers are going to come through. Then we're going to have more back build and come or build back to the west and come through as well. Then you see back over here in central Alabama, where it's been relatively calm for the last couple of hours, we're beginning to see those showers fire up now that we're beginning to get some heating on the clouds as the sun comes up. And that's what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the morning at least. The only severe warnings we have in the entire state of Alabama is down here in South Alabama, south of Montgomery, just to the west of Troy. That is a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Butler County in south central Alabama and Crenshaw County in south central Alabama. That warning is in effect until 6:30, so about another 22 minutes. Severe thunderstorm located about 13 miles east of Georgiana or 14 miles southeast of Greenville, moving northeast at around 40 miles per hour. So that's the only severe thunderstorm warning we have. We do have some flash flood warnings down here, but As far as severe weather is concerned, that's it right now. I expect that to change as we go through the morning, though. Heavy rain in Dadeville. You're more than welcome, William. Thank you. Matt's telling us that there is a lot of wind out in front because the wind has really picked up in Haywood. Yeah, that because of the rain rate is just going to be sky high when this comes through. I mean, it's going to be like somebody opened a fire hose on top of you. Well, that much water coming down through the column, it's pushing wind out in front of the line. So, yeah, I'm not at all surprised. Tiffany is telling us that her parents live in Abanda, and they're telling her that it's not that bad. Yeah, it hadn't got there just yet. Here's Abanda right here on the Randolph County, Chambers County line. You got one little bitty shower off to the west that's about to move through Abanda, but this line of thunderstorms is still back over in northeast Tallapoosa. That's where the wind would be. So that hasn't quite made it to Abanda just yet. Michelle says that some very heavy rainfall up in Cragford, and it's very windy. Report from Pennon that there's barely any wind, and there shouldn't be yet. Again, Pennon, you're ahead of the storm, so it's still off to your west. Be a minute before it gets over there. So things will change over in Pennon in the next 30 minutes or so. A question there about Fort Valley. Are you asking about Fort Valley, Georgia, which is down here below Macon? If that's the question, yeah, everything's fine over there. There are no problems anywhere across Alabama or Georgia this morning. I mean, the life-threatening issues remain down there in southwest Mississippi and across Louisiana, though the weather has subsided over there. Of course, you know, we still have hundreds of thousands of people without power, which is causing a problem in itself. But there are no tornado warnings anywhere associated with Ida at the moment. We have one severe thunderstorm warning down here south of Montgomery. That is the only severe weather warning associated with Ida anywhere across the southeastern United States at the moment. Wind picking up in 5 points according to April. Heavy rain and winds picking up in Wadley. Yes, it will make it into south central Georgia. It'll be later on this morning, and I'm not trying to alarm you by no means, but I honestly think middle Georgia and south Georgia has, at the moment, has a better chance of seeing severe weather than what we're looking at in Alabama right now. This whole line will slowly work to the east towards central or middle and southern Georgia. And the timing is going to be such that by the time these storms get over there, we're going to have heating of the day taking place, so it's going to be warmer, and so that will help intensify these storms over in middle and southern Georgia. So this would be a good day to pay a close to be weather aware if you're in central and southern Georgia. Chris Martin says she's got light rain and hearing some thunder off in a distance. She's at Lake Wedowee. Linda is reporting winds in Roanoke. Wind and rain up at Lake Wedowee. Heavy rain being reported on the east side of Lake Wedowee. Let's go back into that storm. And we've been watching this storm now for since about 4:30, I guess. The National Weather Service was at that time watching some weak rotation along this line down in southeastern Coosa County. And so that's why we decided to go ahead and go live, because of the particular weather setup that we have today. We could get a very short fused warning on any of these storms at any moment. So far, they have behaved. We have seen several small areas of rotation with some of these thunderstorms, but nothing that would indicate that we actually had a tornado. But we're here. Just in case something were to go south with some of these storms. And you got very heavy rainfall from Wedowee all the way back out to Ophelia, all the way out 48. Just a horrible ride now from the Clay County line back to Wedowee. Highway 33 from just south of Wedowee all the way back down to Highway 22 there at Wadley. That's a no-go. 77 from Wadley up to the interchange with 49 is not a good ride this morning. Beginning to see some heavier showers over in western Heard County. And again, notice this secondary line forming back over Clay County. From about Lineville back to Ashland to Millerville, down to Goodwater, and down to Hyssop over in Coosa County. That's another line that's trying to get going this morning. Alexander City, you just went through some very heavy rainfall, gusty winds. We know that we have some power outages down there in Alexander City. Well, here comes another line. Now, it's not very wide at all, but it is developing. So it will start to grow a little bit wider and a little bit stronger as it moves off to the east. Southern Chambers County, back over Tallapoosa from about Budston down to Dadeville. Just 280 is a washout now from Dadeville all the way down to Opelika, really. Heavy rainfall continuing all the way back down into western Lee County down to Notasulga. Some heavy rain right over Auburn University. Right over Opelika. Auburn is in a lull right this moment, but then look back to the west. Here comes some more rain. We have a flash of lightning down there, too, that just occurred. Our West Georgia counties, just light to moderate rain over Troup County. Pretty much the same for Heard, though some heavier rains there from Franklin North right along 27. And then up in Carroll County, the northwest corner of the county is where the heaviest rain is up there, right there along I-20. Just had a lightning flash up there in south central Cleburne County. And we have one down there in western Lee. Now, folks, if you hear thunder or see a bolt of lightning and it's not showing on the map, that's conceivable, because what happens is we have thresholds on the software. And if a lightning bolt does not meet a certain threshold, it's not going to show. So we're talking just, a quick cloud-to-cloud lightning strike that's real weak most likely won't show up. But if it makes contact with the ground, it's going to show up on this radar. Got some hard rain out there on Cody Road in Roanoke. Thank you, Letitia. Your boy's over in Slidell, Mississippi. I know you know that. I've been talking to him. I had to get on to him a little bit. Slidell was a wee bit too close to hunker down for Hurricane Ida, and I think he realizes that now. He was texting me in the height of it, and I asked him, was he under the bed hiding? Matt in Autumn Browning asking the question, is school still on at regular time? As far as I know, it is. I haven't heard from anybody, and honestly, right this minute, I see no reason why it shouldn't be. Now, we got very heavy rainfall, and that is certainly not going to be fun trying to get kids in the school and getting them on a bus. I get it, but we do not have any severe weather. I mean, there's no severe weather out there right now. Could that change? Yes, it could. But for the last 2 hours, we've been watching this, and we just haven't seen any signs of any rapid intensification. So as far as I know, school is still set to go. Now, I think the Clay County schools were doing something. I don't want to say that they were going in delay mode. I'm not really sure. If there's somebody that can confirm that, that would help us out this morning. I know I saw something online about it last night, and I didn't pay attention to it, and I should have. All right, Benny Floyd, and he ought to know, he says the buses are running normal schedule this morning. So there you go. There's your answer for Randolph County. Thank you, Benny. I appreciate that. And again, folks, it's not going to be fun. It isn't. It's going to be an inconvenience, and I know that. But, you know, and understand that because of the heavy rain and the wind, the buses may be running a little bit behind schedule, too. I mean, that's possible. I don't think there's going to be an issue if some of you, you know, if you're taking your children to school, if you're a little bit late. I mean, it is what it is, and you have to do what you have to do, and if it's not safe, then it's just not safe. But just understand that as far as we know, there have been no changes to the schedules in Randolph County. Now, I think there have been some changes over in Clay, but I don't know exactly what those are. All right, so we got some quick burst of wind gust in Dadeville. Cecilia, you need to be weather aware. This is not going to be a red letter severe weather day in Alabama or Georgia. But, you know, here's the thing. If we only get one quick spin up tornado, and it happens to be right on top of Newman Farm, then it is a very significant event for Cecilia. So you see where I'm going with this. This is not going to be a a day where you're going to want to, stay close to your, right outside the door of your closet on the interior of your lowest floor. But be aware. Be aware of what's going on. Make sure you got a good source of severe weather information so that if a warning is issued for your area, you'll know it, because the warnings today, if there are any, and there may not be, but if there are any warnings, they may be very short-lived, or short-fused, I should say, and short-lived. Rain beginning to fall in Heard County, Franklin area. Again, if you're just joining us this morning, and for those of you listening to us over on God's Country and the Classics in East Alabama, we are here primarily watching Randolph County, and we're looking at everybody else too. But this storm up in Randolph County now, it was down in Coosa County when we started coverage this morning. That particular cell was showing signs of rotating. It had weak rotation within the storm, so we're watching this until we get it on up out of Randolph County, and haven't seen any signs of rotation now in the last 30 minutes or so. So we've just got a good old tropical thunderstorm coming through Randolph. We have a secondary line trying to form back over Central Clay. So we have heavy rain again in Ashland and Millerville. And then down here across eastern sections of Tallapoosa and western Chambers, we have heavy rainfall, and that stretches all the way down into western Lee County. And there's the big picture once again. Pine Mountain, Georgia. Yeah, you're good. You've had rain all morning, on and off. Right now, I don't see anything severe. This stuff that's in western Lee County, Alabama, will eventually cross the river and get over into Harris County. And let me say this again, folks, too. For you folks in middle and southern Georgia, Now, Pine Mountain, you're in west central Georgia, so I don't know that this really pertains to you, though the further west you go, the more this statement is going to pertain to you. As we get the heating of the day going, I really think the best opportunity for significant thunderstorms and quick spin-up tornadoes is going to be north central, middle, and southern Georgia. I'm talking basically Atlanta Metro south, and more so from about Macon south. As the storm continues moving northeast and it pulls this feeder band over into middle and southern Georgia, the atmosphere over there is relatively unscathed. Get the heating of the day going. These thunderstorms move into that environment. I think we're going to start seeing some pretty strong thunderstorms blow up in Georgia today. So just know that. Pine Mountain, I'm not really sure. The rain, you've had rain all morning on and off, so the atmosphere is relatively calm there. Now, you're going to get what's in Lee County, Alabama, but I don't know that it will have an opportunity to go severe before it gets there. Probably not. Pat Smith's watching us this morning from Pennon. Steve and Christina Turner asking about Pine Mountain. I just gave you that answer. Lauren is asking about any rotation near Auburn University. No. That storm coming in to Lee County that's out there on the west side is not showing any signs of rotation. Hang on. Let me check something right quick before I complete that sentence. Okay, yeah, well, we have broad rotation out there around Lochapoka, and I'm talking very broad. That is not what you look for a tornado. Let me explain. You see how broad that is? That stretches, covers the entire area of Lochapoka and goes halfway up into northern Lee County. That's not what you want for a tornado. What you want for a tornado would be something like, well, I don't even see a good, you'd want, you see how, yeah, you'd want that without all of this other stuff around it. Now, could this start to develop? Yeah, it could. But this is going to move just north of Auburn, probably. Crossing 280 up there, just right about where 143 and 280 intersects. But this is broad rotation right now. This is nothing to be concerned about for the moment. And I'm sitting here looking at the National Weather Service chat room, and I guarantee you, if they start to see something they're concerned about here, first thing they're going to do is give the media a heads up in the chat room. Then they'll pull the trigger on any watches or warnings. Right now, all thunderstorms rotate. Understand that. So that it's doing what it's supposed to do right now. There probably is some pretty good wind in it, though, because if you go back to the reflectivity, you can see right here, you got a little, see how it bows out right there? So I would expect some wind to be right there, which is coming in the general direction of downtown Auburn and Auburn University. So about to get pretty windy right here on the loveliest village in the plains. Teresa Kirby asking the question, how long is this going to continue for Roanoke? This is going to be on and off deal probably all day. Until we get, here's what's left of old Ida over here in Mississippi. Let me take you to school just a minute. All right, so Roanoke, Alabama's down here. This is what's left of Ida. So Ida is at its closest approach to Roanoke, Alabama right now. All right, Ida's going to continue moving off to the northeast. This stylus that I have on this telestrator has got buttons on the side of it, and what numbskull designed it with all these buttons on the side of it. Amazing. Anyway, so what's left of the hurricane is going to go up in this area here, passing just south of Nashville where they don't need it. This is where all the flooding took place a couple of weeks ago. But that's the direction the storm is going to go. And so until it passes, until it gets up here around Cookeville, I think at that point we'll start to get in the clear down here. But as it moves to the northeast, it's going to continue to drag this rain on over into Georgia. But look back here. We have more convection that's beginning to develop. You see that? Here's a new line that's just developed over in Clay County. And as the day goes along, we're going to start seeing stuff fill in down here as well. And all of that's going to rotate right across East Alabama and West Georgia. So I think this is probably going to last, not continuously. This is going to be an occasional round of showers and thunderstorms throughout most of today, I think. And as we go later in the day, there will be more of a chance that some of these storms could be strong to marginally severe, and a quick spin-up tornado is possible. Sustained winds, for the most part, for all of East Alabama and West Georgia, will be on the order of 10 to 15 miles per hour. Occasional gust, 25 to 35 miles per hour, and a peak wind gust of 40 can't be ruled out. That's what we're going to expect as far as the winds are concerned. We are under a flood watch for rain of 3 to 5 inches. I don't really think that's going to happen, but there could be some pockets where we could see 2 to 3 inches of rain. So I don't really think we're looking at a flash flood issue. If we have a flash flood issue, it's going to be very localized. It's not going to be widespread. You're more than welcome, Teresa Kirby. You anytime. And again, for those of you that are just tuning in this morning, and for the benefit of those of you over on God's Country and the Classic on our radio side, we welcome you to the broadcast. We are just taking the least course of regret here, and the reason we're live this morning, we're watching a line of thunderstorms move through East Alabama that had a history of showing a few little small pockets of rotation earlier. Hadn't really seen anything other than down there in Lee County. We may have a little broad rotation with that storm coming into Auburn, but it, for the moment, is not significant. We're keeping an eye on that, and the Weather Service is watching it as well. So that's why we're here this morning. We have no severe weather across East Alabama or West Georgia at the moment. But with this type of weather setup, I felt that it was better to be on the safe side and go ahead and go live, because if they do issue something, by the time I get on the air and get it to you, it's over with. And so I just didn't want to take that chance. So that's why we're here. You're welcome, Steve. Christina, over on Pine Mountain, Georgia. Beautiful place. I frequent Callaway Gardens and Pine Mountain. I have a sister-in-law that lives in Harris County, not too far away from that area. So quite often we'll come over and go to the, what is it? Is it the Country Store restaurant? I think that's the name of the place. Good food. And of course we have to do the Christmas lights every year. Didn't do them last year. COVID got it. But, yeah. Folks, if you'd like to support us, and we ask that you please consider doing that, I'm going to give you the website or the link to go to. All you have to do is click on the link right there, and that'll carry you over to our home on the World Wide Web. And at the top of the page, you'll see a button that says Donate. All you have to do is click on that button and support us if you can. We really do need your support if we can get it. This takes a whole lot more than you realize to do. It takes a whole lot more than I realized it would take to do and do right. And those of you who know me know that if I can't do it the right way, I'm not going to do it at all. And I feel like we are doing it the right way. But we depend on your support and our partners to keep us going. Speaking of which, if you own a business, or if you know someone who does own a business, I ask that you encourage them to become partners with us here on Dr. Don's Weather. We have different support packages regardless of the size of your budget. We can tailor it to fit anybody's budget, and we would love to have you on. Southern Union State Community College, the Wadley campus particularly, supports our live severe weather coverage. And daily, we do the primetime forecast. We do that every morning. Typically, it's out by 6 a.m. every morning, and our partners get some exposure on that. So if you'd like to be part of this, and all of you are, even if you're just viewers, you're part of this because you're feeding information to me. So we're all one big happy family here at Dr. Don's Weather, and we'd love to have you as a partner. All right, so we're getting reports of hard rain in the Gold Hill area right now. William Martin's telling us that it's definitely over in Dadeville. William, you have a great day too, my friend. Good morning, Glenn Morgan. Glenn's watching us this morning from the Pumpkin Patch in Lafayette. For you folks in Georgia, that is Lafayette. Let's go back down here and look at the Auburn storm. Well, let me look at this Southern Randolph thing right here, right quick. Heads up, Roanoke. You finna get some rain. All right, we may have a little bit of rotation down here just west of Pennon. Again. Right there. So, Miss Cecilia, I'm going to count on you to kind of give me a play-by-play of what you got down there when this comes through. It should cross right there at Pennon. Should cross 77 between Milltown and Pennon, but closer to Pennon. This will move on off like so. Again, that's not a classic tornado signature, but it is an indication that we may have some weak rotation in this storm. It actually looks like it's tightened up a little bit too. Right there. Actually, Milltown, it looks like it's going to come closer to you than it is Pennon. So right in this, if you're in this area right here, you need to be paying attention to this. Go back down to Auburn. Yeah, the Auburn storm doesn't look as well defined as it did. I'm talking about as far as weak rotation is concerned. If there is any down here in Lee County, it's going to be up here north of 280 now. And that's very broad. It's too big. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. Now, you got a lot of heavy rain down there, but as far as rotation, I don't see a concern down there in Lee County right now. What I'm concerned about at the moment is this area down here in Northwest Chambers. Be this area right here. Again, the National Weather Service is not saying anything at all about this, and it is weak. I agree that this is weak rotation, and we've seen this happen multiple times with multiple storms this morning, and we get nothing from the storm. So I'm quite confident that's why they're not jumping up and down about this. If it gets stronger, they may actually pull the trigger on something here. But for now, we do have weak rotation in that storm between Pennon and Milltown. We'll watch and see if it makes it up into Southern Randolph. Back to the reflectivity. Nina Harmon says that she's up between Douglas and Carroll, and it's awfully windy up there. Yeah, you got a lot of rain up there. Anywhere where you see the red, across East Alabama and West Georgia, you can expect 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gust. That's going to happen because the winds aloft are much stronger than they are at the ground. Because we have, folks, we have a storm that reversed the flow of the Mississippi River in the hood. So the higher you go in the atmosphere, the stronger the winds are. So when you get the red, that's very heavy rainfall, and it pushes that wind to the ground. So wherever you see yellow, it's going to be breezy, and wherever you see red, it's going to be windy. Let me go back down here to Southern Chambers, just northeast of Tiger Corner. Let me look at that just a second. So I think the velocity scan is a little bit behind the reflectivity. This green you see down here, I think is actually just north of Oak Bowery. Because when I go back to the reflectivity, that's where the pink is showing up. So I think this is what we're seeing on the velocity product, and that is very broad at the moment. But very windy nonetheless out there in southern rural Chambers County between Chambers Academy and Oak Bowery, just to the east of 431. That's a very heavy part of the cell coming through Chambers County now. And of course, that's going to continue on over here toward Casita, Lynette, Valley, down the road. And then the other heavy part of this is going to be in southern Randolph and northern Chambers. Miss Cecilia, all clear. Milltown, all clear now. The heaviest. See how fast that happens. Yeah, it is raining in Roanoke. It's raining hard, especially on the west side, and that's coming right over Roanoke. But you see where the heavy rain up here. Let me go back to the base velocity. Yeah, I don't see any signs of rotation now. This is windy looking. This whole area here that's rotating up like so. The darker reds surrounded by the lighter red, that's most likely some wind. So here I would expect the 25 to occasional 35 mile per hour wind gust out of this area, moving up out of northern Chambers up into southern Randolph. Looking back over into Clay, I'm interested in seeing how this line is going to develop, and it's looking a lot like what we've already got in Randolph, from Chehaw back to Delta, back down through Bowden Grove, Ashland, Lineville. Heavy rain over there again. All that stuff you hear in the background, too, by the way, is messages coming from the National Weather Service. We monitor every National Weather Service office across the Southeast. And if you don't believe me, ask producer Tracy. She can vouch for it. And that annoying noise you hear occasionally has been happening since about midnight last night. Every 5 minutes. But it's information on the hurricane. It's information on any severe weather watches or warnings that are issued across the Southeast, including East Alabama and West Georgia. So when you hear that annoying sound in the background, that's information coming from the National Weather Service. Now, it doesn't always pertain to our coverage area because I like to look upstream to see what may be coming for our area. So I get a lot of stuff over in West Alabama, East Mississippi, Southwest Alabama, and of course I'm set up for every county in the state of Georgia. because of my paying daytime job. And there's 159 counties in Georgia. And the National Weather Service in Peachtree City is not bashful about pushing the panic button, trust me. Not being critical, I'm just picking at them. I know all of them down there. Good morning, Emily Hendricks in Valley, Alabama. Tracy Stanford, good morning to you. Thank you, Cecilia. I appreciate those kind words. We do depend on support from our followers, and I appreciate your encouragement. It goes a long way to keep this going. Folks, understand this is what you're looking at, our radar, the Southern Union State Community College Live Doppler HD radar. This is not a product that I just go out there and pull off the internet. This is proprietary software that is set up specifically for what we are doing for East Alabama and West Georgia. And there is a cost. Trust me, there is a cost involved. I could go out there and grab, the National Weather Service radar on the National Weather Service website, but anybody, you could do that. So there wouldn't be much point in me doing that. I wanted to give you something that we could really get good resolution on and look into and see what's going on, and really give us a good look at what's happening across East Alabama and West Georgia. That's what happens in Birmingham and Atlanta, and to me, one life is just as important as a million. So you deserve the same coverage as the big television markets provide to their viewers. So yeah, please support us if you can. All you have to do is go to drdonwx.com. There's a donate button there on the top of our page. Just click on that, and there's no amount too small or too large. We appreciate anything that you can do to help us out. It is secure. You do not have to have a PayPal account, though it's quicker if you do. You can do it with a credit card without a PayPal account. So hope that you'll consider doing that this morning. Thank you, Cecilia. Miss Vivian's talking about the rain in Daviston, saying it's been pretty strong since about 4 a.m. and asking the question, when will it let up? Well, it should be things should be much better in Daviston right now. And if you got to go to work in Wadley, you're good to go. As you can see, between Wadley and Daviston on 22, just some sprinkles from time to time. That's it. Now, that's not to say that we won't see more later on today. We most likely will. But to drive from Daviston to Wadley, you're okay right now. Driving from Roanoke to LaGrange, going to encounter a lot of rain. Though if she just left, she's in some rain right now. She may get out of it by the time she gets down there around Welch, and she may be coming in right behind. Just tell her to drive slow. She needs to be driving slow anyway because of the rain. But if she'll stay kind of behind this red stuff, she'll be okay. But she's going to encounter heavy rain in Roanoke, and then from Standing Rock all the way to Lee's Crossing. It's going to be pretty heavy on 109. I'll put this back in motion so you can kind of get a general idea of the direction of the storms this morning. I'm going to give the radio stations a heads up. I am about to take a break. I'm going to leave the feed up for those of you watching us on social media. But, Kevin, if you want to break away from my coverage, if you want to do that, I'm going to take a break for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll be back. Of course, if if we were to get a warning while I'm away, I'll come back immediately. But I'm going to step aside for just a few moments, take care of a couple of things. Primarily get another cup of coffee going. Producer Tracy doesn't come in until about 10 a.m., so I have to go fix my own coffee this early in the morning. So I'm going to step aside for just a few moments, and our coverage will continue. So stay with us on Dr. Don's Weather. All right, good morning, East Alabama to West Georgia. Dr. Dodd back in here with you. It is coming up on 7 o'clock. It is exactly 7:01 Central, 8:01 Eastern on your Tuesday morning. It is August 31st, 2021. We are continuing our live coverage of what once was Hurricane Ida, which made landfall down around Grand Isle or Port Fortune, Louisiana, yesterday around 11:55 a.m. And so we are continuing to watch this situation unfold for East Alabama and West Georgia. What's left of the center of circulation of Ida is back over in Mississippi. It is going to continue to the northeast, and understand that you're looking at the Birmingham radar, so you're not seeing all of the precipitation. But I can tell you that this is the majority of it, of what's left of Hurricane Ida. So Ida will cross over I-22 near Tupelo, Mississippi. So from now until the storm gets up into eastern Tennessee, Ida is making her closest approach to East Alabama and West Georgia. So this is the window of opportunity I've been talking to you about that we're going to have to watch for the possibility of some severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia. As we get into the heating of the day, that's when our chances will increase. We've already seen these storms intensify a little bit this morning. Heavy thunderstorm moving through Randolph, now over on the eastern side of Roanoke. Heavy portion of that storm moving through northeastern Chambers County, now moving over into extreme northwestern Troup County. Heard County, you've got just torrents of rain taking place there now. Also up into Carroll County, we're seeing the same thing. Bowden, very heavy rainfall now, and that's going to continue on up toward Carrollton. And you can see across North Alabama, really not a whole lot going on other than this area, which is basically west of I-65 from Birmingham to Coleman, back over to the Mississippi state line and down to around Tuscaloosa. That's the flooding rain. That's the consistent, really heavy rainfall. And I think that's going to, even though it looks like it's moving due east, it's not. It's moving a little bit north of due east. So I think that is certainly going to probably cause some flash flooding issues in downtown Birmingham. And then for Gadsden, maybe down to Anniston, this area will come your way. But then up there in North Alabama, of course, we're looking at Birmingham, so there's a chance that we're not seeing everything up here. Let me go to High Top. Let me put on the High Top radar right quick. This will take just a second to populate there. So now you can see what's happening up in Tennessee. Lots of rain, especially north of I-40 and to the northeast of 24 up there. But North Alabama's looking pretty good right now, with the exception of this area of heavy rain that's moving to into Birmingham at this hour. But look, the high top radar is picking this stuff up over here in East Alabama, so you know it's pretty strong. Though it is not severe by classic definition at this hour. We have had several areas of weak rotation all along this line as it's moved through East Alabama this morning, and that's the primary reason we're here. The strongest portion of this now in Randolph County is out there on County Road 87, from Roanoke all the way up to Big Springs. That's where the heaviest of it is. And then we get over here in Heard County, northwest Heard County, pretty strong up there around Central Hatchie all the way back to the Randolph County line. Then it gets on up into Carroll County from Bowden all the way back down to the Heard County line. But right this moment, the heaviest part of this line is in Chambers County. Where you see the lightning strikes, that's where we're seeing the heaviest of the thunderstorm. And I was just looking at some data coming from the National Weather Service up at Peachtree City, and they're talking about the same thing I've been telling you this morning. As this line gets into Georgia, now that we have the heating of the day taking place, and especially, I think, especially east of 75 for north, central, middle, and southern Georgia, east of 75, the atmosphere over here is relatively unscathed because there hasn't been a whole lot of rain over there so far. And the timing is going to be such, this feeder band is going to rotate over into that part of Georgia in the afternoon hours. I think our best chance for seeing some quick spin-up tornadoes is going to be over here in the eastern half of Georgia, east of I-75, as we go throughout the day. We were asking you to support us if you possibly can, and thank you this morning to Miss Janine Heineman. She is a supporter of Dr. Don's Weather, making a donation just a few moments ago. And if you would like to do that, please go to drdonwx.com. There's the link in the chat room. All you have to do is click on that, and then that carries you to our website. At the very top of the page, there's a button that says Donate, where you can support Dr. Don's Weather. Again, you can use your credit card, debit card. If you have PayPal, that's the quickest way to do it. But it is quick, it's fast, it's secure, and we appreciate it. Thank you, Janine Heineman. We appreciate your support. So we're going to stay with this for a few more minutes. We've been watching this area to see if it was going to give us any more spin-up rotation, and so far we haven't seen it. We've had a couple of areas down here in, this all started a couple of hours ago down in Coosa County. We had a weak rotation, and then we had it again around Pennon, and we've actually had it twice there around Pennon this morning. So, Miss Cecilia, you need to be sitting on the front row Sunday. Because you've gotten away with it twice this morning already. But now, Clay County, central and western Randolph, pretty much all of Tallapoosa with the exception of the southeast corner, and all of Coosa, you're pretty much in the clear now. For now. We have more scattered small showers forming back off to the west, and then we'll have to watch this area of more concentrated rain that's just north of Tuscaloosa moving off to the east-northeast. I think that stays out of East Alabama for the most part, but central northern Talladega, central northern Clay, central northern Randolph, and Cleburne might have to deal with that in a couple of hours. Thank you, Pat Smith, Jackie Kimbar. Appreciate your kind words. Again, folks, where you see red and yellow, it's going to be breezy, if not windy. And where you see the darkest reds, that's where the heaviest wind is going to be this morning. And then where you see the yellow with red mixed in, that's going to be breezy. But after this line moves through, the wind should back off a bit, though we could see sustained winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour now for the remainder of the day. And then when these individual thunderstorms move through, we could see wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, but probably closer to 30, unless we get an intense thunderstorm. And just understand that this is going to be periods of this throughout the day. Long-range guidance is showing us a line of rather intense thunderstorms that may form this afternoon. And that would probably be our last hoorah with Ida, if indeed that does develop. Of course, we'll be watching that all day long. Good morning, Becky Fox over in LaGrange, Georgia. Tiffany is telling us that the winds are picking up in LaGrange. No doubt. You got that line that's coming out of Chambers County, headed right straight for LaGrange. It's out there over West Point Lake now, out there at Holiday Park. The most intense part of this right this moment, though, is right up there on the Chambers-Randolph County line, right there around Bacon Level, right there at Mark Hall's house. stretching up to now it's over in now it is in Troup County, right there at where Troup, Hurd, and Randolph all come together. That's the heaviest part of this line at the moment, though we've just had a little piece pop up there in Amity Park out there on the western side of Troup County that's pretty strong. We've got some lightning beginning to show up in this storm coming into Troup County as well. So just west of Lee's Crossing is the leading edge of the heaviest rain in this band, and that will move right over downtown LaGrange. Most of Randolph County is in the clear for the moment. Northwest Chambers County looking good. Tallapoosa's good, except from about Dadeville down through Camp Hill and Waverly. You still got some heavy rain there, but things are much better now over Alexander City. A little rain remaining up there northeast Clay, up around Delta. The rest of the county's in good shape. But again, notice back over here around Talladega County, back down into Chilton, Shelby, St. Clair, we're beginning to see these scattered showers and thunder showers pop up over here. So you can see it's going to be a scattered variety now for the next several hours. And then maybe later this afternoon, we have one more line of storms move through, which could be from a feeder band. Right now, indications are that would be the last round of significant weather we may have to deal with. So as I've been telling you for 2 or 3 days now, this was going to happen, and today would be the best window of opportunity, and that is true. That's what's panned out. But it's not going to be a continuous all-day storm. We're going to have periods of showers and thunderstorms. Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. He just picked up the Dr. Don weather app, and if you go to drdonwx.com, not only can you donate to us, but you can also download our weather app, regardless of what type of phone that you have, and you're supporting us by doing that as well. But folks, understand, I know we have people who watch us from all over, actually all over the globe. We had folks in here from across the pond Saturday and Sunday, which is pretty cool, by the way. But understand, our weather app is specifically for East Alabama and West Georgia. There are tons of weather apps out there that you can go and download that will give you weather alerts regardless of where you are. But Dr. Don's weather is specifically for East Alabama and West Georgia. So make sure you understand that before you purchase it. Now, if you live in East Alabama and West Georgia, that's your best option because it's tailored specifically for you. You're not going to get weather alerts for North Alabama, North Mississippi, or North Michigan. It's not going to happen. You're going to get weather alerts for East Alabama and West Georgia, and weather tailored specifically for that area of Alabama and Georgia. And that is the absolute best option as far as getting notified when we go live. If you depend on Facebook to notify you that we're live, then you're gambling because their algorithm and the way they do their notifications is not conducive for severe weather. So your two options to make sure that you get notified when we go live is going to our YouTube channel and subscribing to YouTube, and make sure you click on that little notification bell, and or downloading our weather app. And you can watch us on our weather app. You can cast your phone to your big screen smart TV, and that's the absolute optimal way to watch our weather coverage, because then you can really see a good resolution on our radar and our products that we show you here. I know that it's really hard to see the towns. It's hard to see specific stuff on your phone because the screen is so small. But if you'll download our weather app, and then when we go live, you'll get an immediate notification. Then you can cast your phone to your smart TV. And now you can see what's going on. A lot of folks do that, and it works out real well. So Randolph County, we're going to put you in the clear. The heaviest rain has now moved out of Randolph. It's over in Heard County, Georgia. It's stretching from, good grief, we'll go up here north of I-20 to around Tallapoosa, Buchanan. It comes across I-20 right there around Bremen, and then stretches back down to Carrollton, down through Roopville, into extreme western Coweta County. Most of Heard County is covered up with rain right now. Franklin, it's raining hard. Heavy small cell down here in extreme southwest Heard County. There's probably some wind involved with that little piece down there just south of Denver. That's going to continue off to the northeast and cross over 219 right there at Denver. And then we come on down into northwest Troup County, heavy rain from the Heard County line all the way back down through Holiday Park, just north of Gabbettville. Then it stretches back into Chambers. Heavy rainfall, heavy to moderate rainfall now, basically along and east of 431. Down to around Casita, Lynette, West Point, Valley. It's about to be on top of you. Tallapoosa County is in the clear with the exception of this one piece right there in the extreme eastern part of the county just north of the intersection of 280 and 50, just south of Budston. That's going to move on over into Chambers. And then as we look at Lee County this morning, just some scattered stuff. Heavy rain just north of Auburn, or just west of Auburn, just north of Opelika. The extreme western sections of Lee County looking good right now. And then as we come down to I-85, we see scattered heavy showers down there south of 85 around Tuskegee. I'm going to zoom out because I want to show you what's happening in South Alabama. And this is why I think things are going to get rather stormy in central and south Georgia later on today. These thunderstorms down here are intensifying. And we're looking at the Birmingham radar, and you can see them. Let's switch to Mobile right quick. And you can see what's happening on the Gulf Coast. 1, 2, 3 distinct feeder bands, maybe even a fourth one trying to form over here, streaming up across the northwest Florida Panhandle and the Gulf Coast regions of South Alabama from Dauphin Island all the way over to Port St. Joe. We have bands of very heavy thunderstorms coming on shore. And as the day goes on and as the storm moves to the northeast, all of this is going to get pulled across southern Alabama and up into southern Georgia. And this would be the prime area for those quick spin-up tornadoes. All these blue polygons, those are marine warnings. Most likely we have waterspouts involved with every one of these blue polygons that you see out here in the Gulf of Mexico. And what does a waterspout become once it hits land? It becomes a tornado. So if you're down there at the beach, trying to get in that last few minutes of vacay, basically from about Gulf Shores, the west end of Dauphin Island out there at Fort Morgan, you're pretty good right now. But basically from about Gulf Shores all the way over to Pensacola, then we pick up again just west of Destin. And then there's another band coming on shore just west of Panama City. And we eventually will have another one down here around Port St. Joe. And all of that's going to come in. And as the day goes along, all this will shift to the right or back over towards southeast Alabama and eventually south Georgia. Let's go to Atlanta. There's what we're looking at, the heavy weather now in West Georgia from basically Carrollton up there at I-20 down through all of Carroll County, most of Heard County, northwest Troup. Harris, you're in pretty good shape right now. We do have some heavy rain continuing over in eastern and southeastern Chambers, right there lined up right along I-85. That will come into Harris County in the next 30 minutes. As this band continues to move off to the northeast. Good morning, Smith Station. Nice to have you, Ted. Ted says it's windy down there at Smith Station this morning. You got a line off to your west and northwest. Here's Smith Station right here. And if you look back up here to the north, that's where your wind's coming from. I don't see anything particularly dangerous right there. Certainly all of this is below severe limits, but it will continue to move in your general direction over the next hour or so. Good morning, Pat Ray. Nice to have you with us. There in beautiful Standing Rock, Alabama. So, folks, our plan is to stay with this until the bottom of the hour. That's going to be about 8 more minutes, and then we're going to step aside. We've been going now for, this is our second broadcast this morning. We've been going for an hour and a half, and we went for about an hour prior to this. So we're going to step aside here in about 7 or 8 minutes. Keep in mind, though, that we're in full mode this morning, full severe weather mode. So we're watching all of this very closely. And of course, if anything at all were to change, I'll be right back with you. But we're going to end our live continuous coverage for now. We've been watching this line of thunderstorms ever since it moved into East Alabama about 2.5 hours ago. We had some weak rotation along this line, especially over in Coosa County. And so instead of taking a chance of not being able to get the warning out there quick enough, we went ahead and went live just in case they pulled a quick fused warning on us. Because if we have tornadoes in this environment, it's going to be extremely fast. I mean, they're not going to last long at all. So we've been watching this area, though, now for the last couple of hours. We have had a couple of areas of weak rotation in Chambers County. But that was it. That was the last time I've seen anything, and that was about an hour ago now. So we see no evidence of any rotation in this line, though I got to tell you, central and southern Carroll, central Hurd, northwestern Troop, you've got some massive rainfall taking place there in those little waves that are moving through. Now, it's not going to last particularly long, and the wind will be gusty when it comes through. Where you see that dark red flashing, that's where the heaviest rain is. And you could certainly get some wind gust of, 20 to 30 miles per hour when this line comes through. And yes, LaGrange, you're going to get this line. It's coming right up 29. It'll come right over downtown LaGrange in the next 15 or 20 minutes. So thank you all for joining me this morning. Again, don't forget to head over to drdonwx.com. Support us if you can, and also download our weather app so that you get notified when we go live for severe weather. There's a lot of cool stuff on the weather app, too. You get all of our blogs that we put out there. In between broadcasting live, I do a lot of writing, and I put weather blogs up, and you get them on Facebook and on Twitter. But you get them quicker if you've got the Dr. Don weather app, because what happens is we post them there first, and then technology has to do its thing, and then eventually it shows up on Facebook. Sometimes it happens rather quickly, sometimes not. But to guarantee that you get that information as quick as possible, the best idea is to download our weather app. And again, you can do that at drdonwx.com. So we continue to watch what's happening across East Alabama and West Georgia. This line, which has moved through early this morning, just as we expected it would, will continue moving off toward Atlanta Metro. Then, as the day goes along and as the storm continues moving to the northeast across northwest Alabama, and as we continue to get more heating of the day, we most likely will see storms filling in back off to the west in central Alabama, and then those storms could rotate across East Alabama. Our long-range model guidance is showing us another line, another feeder band, and another line of thunderstorms later on today, possibly mid to late afternoon. We expect that would be the final hoorah from Ida if it develops. So we're going to be watching that for you throughout the day. If it does start to develop, I'll come right back and at least to give you an update and give you a heads up that it's coming. And then we'll give you coverage of it if conditions warrant. So in the meantime, please go to drdonwx.com. That's DRDONWX.com. Support Dr. Don's weather with the donate button at the top of the page and download that weather app. And then as soon as it becomes necessary, I'll be right back with live coverage on Dr. Don's weather. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'll talk to you later. All right, folks, before I completely shut down, I just got some information from the National Weather Service at Peachtree City I want to pass along to you. The National Weather Service has issued a significant weather advisory for this area of activity that's in west central Georgia. And they're also telling us this morning that they are watching the cells moving into herd troop very closely. Broad rotation on those storms, and they're moving into a tongue of better instability with plenty of shear around. And that just goes hand in hand with what I've been telling you all morning, and that's why we've been live all morning watching that line of storms, because there were pockets of broad rotation all along that line, and we still have it. It's not tornado significant at the moment, but that could change at any moment. And so what you need to pay attention to, let me turn the telestrator back on. Every one of these little indentions you see in this line, and down here on the tail end of each one of these lines, all those areas I just marked for you, those are areas where we're beginning to see this line get a little bit segmented. And everywhere you see a little break in this line, that's where we've got a little broad rotation going all along this line. And so it's possible we could get a quick spin-up tornado anywhere where I have drawn there on the screen. So you folks down here in Valley, Lynette, LaGrange, just north of Hogansville, up here in the northern part of Heard County, and then just south of Bowden. All these little ripples in this line right here are areas that you could have a quick spin-up tornado with very little warning. So as this line advances on off to the northeast, you folks over here in Coweta County, you're a little gun-shy right now, I understand that. And then on into Atlanta Metro. This whole line is going to make it up here to Atlanta within the next hour or so. Pay very close attention. Make sure that you are weather aware. Make sure you have a good source of severe weather information as this storm now moving out of our coverage area and headed toward Atlanta Metro. Glenn Burns is doing his thing this morning, and he's going to be covering this pretty good as it moves on up into the Atlanta Metro. Now, if we were to get something confirmed in this line of storms, I'll come right back and we'll continue to cover it at least until it's completely out of our coverage area. But just understand the National Weather Service over here at Peachtree City is now talking about this line, and they are watching it very closely, and certainly will issue anything that needs to be issued for this line as it moves on off to the east. So there you go. Just wanted to share that with you right quick before we get out of here. So now I'm going to step aside, and if we get more severe weather, I'll be right back here with you on Dr. Don's Weather.